And I got to ask Apollo, will we see some more Kha'Zix from Rush? He didn't seem happy about the idea, so, we'll see. But he's, anything's on the table. Here's another story I want to point out about Rush. So multiple sources have now told me Rush has never gone 0-2 in a week in the LCS. And Rush told Hai this when they played together a while back, and Hai gave it this story during one of the story meetings. Apollo was also aware. He said one of the very first things Rush told me is he's never gone 0-2. So he's like, I don't even know why we did draft
You're
prep.
At least going to win half your games.
We already know we're going to win today because Rush will never go 0-2 in the week. He tells everyone this. I find it interesting.
Well, we'll see if it remains true after this weekend.
Yeah.
And now that it has been brought up on a broadcast, maybe it's one of those things where you couldn't talk about it for the Magic to stay alive.
Well, Rush talked about it with every team he's ever been on, so I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I am interested again, as you pointed out, OpTic did select red side. When you think back to summer, they were certainly a team who was doing a lot of cool stuff with counter picks. They were doing some, some split push stuff. They did Yorick, they did Fiora. They've done a lot of different things in that regard. So I'm going to be excited to see if they have anything up their sleeves here with the red side selection.
Well, right now it's pretty standard stuff. Urgot and Ezreal surprise basically no one in this draft, but keep in mind Dhokla was certainly a big top lane counter pick proponent. Back in the last season, he was one of the big Yorick players. He had lots of counter picks to a lot of the meta top laners. Of course, we run a very flex pick heavy meta game now where you don't know what the top laner is going to be. Even when all 10 champions are locked in, you're like, well, this could still flip around. It makes that strength a little bit weaker, but we will see as the Ornn is now hovered for Echo Fox and is locked in.
That being said, can still be Urgot mid, and you could have your top lane counter pick for last, or vice versa, saving counter pick for Crown. The bot lane does seem pretty straightforward these days in pick ban. It's basically ban Lucian, and then pick Ezreal if that's up, and then if that's taken, you pick Kaisa. And it seems to be those are the only champions really getting play in the bot lane these days, with at least a lot of games played. Yeah. So certainly not surprised to see that. Ornn support feels like a bit of a flavor pick. We saw 2 games from JJ. Last week, we got to see Hakuho bringing it out yesterday as well, but it was shut down pretty heavily, but I think in part by the Nocturne pick on the opposing team, making it very hard for Hakuho to actually redirect his Ornn ultis and catch a lot of players with those.
Well, Zilean in the mix right here. Of course, it still can go support, though I feel like it's more commonly a mid laner, but got to be interesting to watch, and we'll see what it combos with.
That said, I do think you could I always look at it as a greedy support, and I think against Ornn, you can kind of play a bit of a greedier scaling support. Ornn is not someone who should be pressuring you exceptionally hard in lane, especially not when paired with a Kaisa. So, if you want to get some extra value out of that bottom lane, I think that's something that you can look to get away with. Similarly, as we've seen in the LCK, people bringing out Galio picks, and if people are going to play these passive lanes, you can start to kind of try to one-up them and outscale them even in the support role.
Well, it's OpTic themselves banning Yorick and even the Nocturne that I feel like I've seen combo with Zilean as well, because you can dive in and just be revived and be that heat-seeking missile. Interesting choices here. We'll wait to see what OpTic wants to play. Keep in mind that Dhokla had a very good Scion game yesterday and might just pick it again, but that Scion is banned, so not an option here. Early banned by Echo Fox in that first phase. Well, no Braum, no Kindred, no Nocturne, no Yorick, as we mentioned.
Yeah, so based on the bans, Echo Fox certainly is expecting that OpTic has already selected their solo laners, targeting the jungler, targeting the support. Those would be the obvious roles to still remain.
Yeah.
And Dardoch, Lee Sin is available. Rush, could grab it up himself if he does want to go for it. We do have Tahm Kench support, so we do now know that with almost certainty it is going to be mid Zilean and top lane Urgot.
Yeah, I don't see myself seeing Zilean top, nor do I see Ezreal jungle.
No glacial augment Tahm Kench top?
I don't think so. I feel like that's also unlikely. The Ziggs the throwback to Apollo having played it a long time ago, but I feel like that's unlikely here. Instead, we get an exciting jungler in for Rush. Kha'Zix is going to be a fun one to watch for. Dardoch gets counter pick. We'll see what that comes through as, but Kha'Zix certainly a very strong champion. And can really break things apart when you've got both an Ornn and a Lissandra for setup.
Yeah, I mean, week 1 was really all about kind of farming with double Kha'Zix pick. This week, Echo Fox seems to be focusing more on the early aggression, the ganking power from their jungler, going Lee Sin yesterday, Kha'Zix today. Thresh going to be grabbed up, but remember that is being picked into the Tahm Kench. So you know, that can be a fairly difficult matchup, but we have seen great Thresh players such as Hakuho navigate this well, and you try to hook onto the Ezreal and then take that in as he gets devoured, you double flay, and you can do these different sorts of things, and it's gonna be Rengar. The hunt is on.
That is great. I don't care who wins. I'm glad it's Kha'Zix vs Rengar in the jungle. Oh, before Dardoch was a jungler, he was a top lane Rengar main. He actually played top lane Rengar last split.
And he won.
I don't think he did.
I thought he won.
I thought he
lost.
looked good, but he lost, was how it looked there.
We'll check the tapes.
Either way, it's exciting. I'm all about this game.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty hype. You talked about the Zilean plus Nocturne dive combo can work exceptionally well with Zilean plus Rengar. Throw one bomb onto Rengar's head, speed him up. He jumps in, that explodes, adding even more assassination power there, not to mention the revive. So certainly a very strong duo there. We'll see how well they're going to fare, because you do expect pre-6 to be kind of weighted a bit more towards the Kha'Zix and the Lissandra, and this is a top lane Ornn flex, which we didn't even get to really mention because we kind of got distracted by the Rengar here. So not a lot of top lane Ornn you see these days. Ever since the W shield was removed, his trades are so much worse, and he is against an Urgot, so I think this is a very tough matchup that Solo is being put into. So we'll have to track how well he is going to be able to survive up there if they're left on an island.
Well, it's going to be something to watch for here. Exciting stuff. As, yeah, this could be a very bullied Ornn, and Urgot can really take over. Dhokla so far, undefeated with OpTic this season, and I've liked him so far as a player. He's had a pretty short career in the LCS, but I think he's been pretty solid. And we're getting into the LCS stage. Onto the Rift here for game 2 of the day. Echo Fox and OpTic Gaming. Dardoch against his old team. We'll see if he can get some revenge for being taken off the roster. OpTic already 2-1 with a largely academy-focused team. Could be a 3-1 start, far above almost everyone's expectations.
And it makes it such an interesting conversation with people expecting Arrow to have, you know, his visa coming for next week.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard people talking about that. Then do you actually swap in the rest of the intended LCS starters with that? If these guys are 3-1, do they even get subbed out? Do you sub in Meteos with Arrow? Do you sub in no one and just kind of keep it rolling? You know, feed that hot hand? It's an interesting question, because even if on paper some of the other players are better, if everything is just kind of clicking right now with the current OpTic roster, it's hard to know if they'll make those swaps.
Absolutely, but of course early season is the time to figure things out. CLG had done a bit of that and finally got their first win yesterday. We'll see more of them today as well. Something to watch for. As Rush going to be pushed around, and first bit of damage comes through for Dardoch, and oh no, poor Rush, also time bombed. He'll be fine, but he's going to be quite a bit lower for this clear.
Yeah, we'll be fairly low, but thankfully, you know, Kha'Zix does have a pretty good clear, and it looks like he's actually going to start Raptors, so maybe just doing a W start here, very likely. Going to be starting on that Raptors, and we'll get pretty low doing this probably, but you know, you can go Raptors, red, out to the scuttle, something like that, but Dardoch's certainly going to be having a better time with his start, as he is getting a leash and didn't get poked out.
Yeah, it's not too bad so far though. Rush with Talisman plus W start is regening a lot off that Raptor camp, so does seem like that was already the goal with the Talisman start in the first place. And
it is both potions down though on the first camp, so
yeah, that's hurtful.
Definitely hurts if he does run into Dardoch, but should have a pretty good time of things, you know, especially once he gets the red buff for regen and everything. He'll be totally fine.
Yeah. All right, well, getting through his camps right here. Red buff regen very low in the early levels, but at least means something, and doing more of a power clear. Krugs are next up on the docket. Looking at top lane, no surprise Dhokla's getting the early push. We'll keep checking in later on throughout time. As Azael mentioned, there's not a lot of top lane Ornn anymore in pro play. The trading is a lot weaker, but we'll check in throughout time. Mid lane, actually so far very positive for Phoenix, and I do want to talk about Crown actually, because we heard from Countdown at the beginning of the day, there's a good chance that Crown was the single most important pickup of any team in the offseason, and he has been very good. His actual CS, I think it's CSD at 10, is highest of all mid laners in LCS, even above players like Jensen, who is undefeated and also Liquid's the best team in the league. So Crown has been a standout, but I think a lot of players on OpTic are doing well.
Yeah, they definitely are, and it's something that's made that much more impressive when you're not surrounded by this all-star, you know, supporting cast, right?
Yeah.
You know, for TL, it's a whole squad of all-stars basically, and OpTic did not have high expectations, so to succeed anyway, I think, is extremely impressive, and it's been a pleasant surprise because Crown you know, a lot of people do think back to Crown the world champion, but last year in the LCK, Crown was certainly struggling. At Worlds, they had an early exit as well, so you know, he didn't even get to play for a lot of the regular LCK season.
Ooh, Smite goes to Rush, I believe, as they're now both wearing blue buffs, but Dardoch nearly makes that invade happen. Either way, he will at least take the Gromp out, as Rush has to get away from this one, and Dhokla, with already the lane push, ensures this camp goes over to OpTic's side.
Yeah, so nice little invade, even though he does not get the blue. He still had his Smite. There's no chance that Rush was going to be able to contest that with Solo shoved in and Dhokla roaming over. But Crown, yeah, he's been very impressive, and it's exciting to see another really talented player performing well in the LCS.
Always good to see. We see the bot lane being pushed in. Hakuho and Apollo have been together for quite a long time at this point. Hakuho making his first start with Renegades all those years ago, and Thresh has been one of his trademark champions, and those two have done some pretty good things throughout LCS before, but they've been some of the major carry forces of Echo Fox right now. That even with Rush coming in, he maybe wasn't quite as explosive as some people were hoping for, but the sort of consistency of Apollo and Hakuho have actually been pretty high and have been one of the positive forces for Echo Fox getting wins.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good word to describe them. They have been very consistent for a very long time. They are not usually considered the best of the bottom lanes in the league. They are always, you know, somewhere more around the middle, but I do think that they are consistent performers. They can have high highs, and, you know, certainly when you think back to Spring Split last year, Hakuho famously, you know, being the first team to kind of knock out TSM before the finals with Clutch there, and Hakuho having an incredible performance on the Thresh.
He's on that champion again. It's one he's known for, and so far the bottom lane looking pretty decent. This is a Kaisa who is winning lane, and that feels pretty positive. Tahm Kench, of course, having to be more passive in the matchup anyway. You expect some of this to happen anyway. But Kaisa getting to scale is good, and Rush getting to solo his Mountain Drake is nice as well. Leapt over, that's on cooldown. If you were found, you'd have to flash, but looks like the early Mountain Drake will be a formality here as Echo Fox are going to dedicate the time. There's no camps to take anyway, and this Drake is worth gold and XP, more than it was in the previous season. And so slowly, Mountain Drake is the tankiest of all the Drakes. Lowest DPS, but the tankiest. And slowly but surely it will drop. Hakuho helps take it up, and they will get the early Mountain Drake here in this game.
Yeah, not bad at all. It is one that I think it's, you know, very much can be a kind of a win war style of dragon, so they're probably not going to get anything from it early on, but Kha'Zix is already an incredible Baron taker, as is Kaisa, so if you're looking forward into the game, if they're in a good position, that can help to enable that much more. And up here on the top side, Dhokla is level 6, Solo is not, so they may be potentially looking to pressure him at the very least, but not going to try for any crazy dives.
Yeah. Rengar is around, but he's 5 with 0 XP to spare, so not like he's close to the level up or anytime soon. So Grom's back up, but he's going to be a while till that comes out and happens. And we'll wait to see what comes through. Is it simply a only 7 CS lead right here for Dhokla? He's not actually denying that much from Solo. Solo's holding up pretty well.
Yeah, nothing too crazy, but I do think it can get tougher for the tanks as Urgot gets some more levels and the passive cooldown shortens up, and especially once you're on something like Black Cleaver, that can get really difficult to deal with, all the CDR and the levels that he's picked up by that point. But we'll see. I mean, if Solo can make it through the laning phase, I do think this is still an incredibly strong pick for the team fights, right? Yeah. You know, the ultimate is incredibly powerful. That really is the bread and butter of the Ornn. The engage potential is extremely high. So we'll see how well he's going to be able to perform in the later stages of this lane.
Ooh, the ult's landed. Solo is going to be low enough. This could be the pull, and it will be a solo kill. First blood in the top lane for Dhokla.
It's the caster curse. As soon as you talk about him doing okay, he does get solo killed up there. Dhokla had the spellbook Ignite, plus the ultimate in the phage, enough to knock him down. Thankfully for Solo, at least he does have the TP, so should be able to collect up most of those minions for the experience and gold, but definitely going to feel good for Dhokla to be able to get that sort of an advantage and springboard him towards that Black Cleaver. Yeah, so here it is one more time. He has the Spellbook Ignite ready. He is level 6. Able to just really connect with everything. E-flash there to buffer the E, so there's not really any time for Solo to react, and that is just really well done from Dhokla. I'm assuming he actually TP'd into the river because it seemed like Solo was fairly far up, and he kind of got around on him a little bit, and Solo just not maybe noticing that teleport coming in or underestimating just how much damage he can do with that Ignite available.
Seems like it was underestimated, and that was really nicely done here. Good stun comes through. Crown getting a bit of a lead here in this. And Phoenix is at half HP. One of the very few landing phases we're seeing Crown behind in farm. That is a bit expected for Zilean.
Yeah.
You can certainly survive it, but it's hard to get all the CS, just with how difficult using Time Bomb can be.
Yeah, and again, it's another champion that I think really does benefit from some levels. Once you hit up around that level 9, you start picking up some AP, you have max rank of your bombs. Then you're just clearing out the waves for free, and you can start to look to be more aggressive. But in those early stages, as you say, the bombs can sometimes leave those minions at awkward health points and result in you missing some of the farm. But, I mean, really, both players are farming incredibly well at this stage.
They're just fine right here. Dardoch grabbing the red buff. That is, of course, level 6 in for both these junglers. Unsurprising in most of this. Phoenix just going to keep the farm going under turret as well. Looks like we have the ult evolved for Rush here.
It's also worth noting, Crown's build here. He is not going for a Ludens. He's not going for a tier. It is at least the Catalyst and expecting just a straight row Rush. And I think that this is intelligent for a number of reasons, but especially when you are playing against Lissandra, when you are playing against Kha'Zix, you're not playing cleanse, so you need to be able to survive through the initial Lissandra ult to actually get your self-ultimate out and be able to revive. And if you go for a no-health build, a no-defenses build, that is very unlikely to happen.
All right, a fight between the junglers. Good damage coming out at the beginning. Dardoch one charge away from Empowered, and he's going to get an extra heal coming through, but now damage is on. Gate showing up. Rush is running for dear life, and a kill in the bot lane. They just caught Asta. Flash up, killed. Maybe walked the wrong way, but either way, well done to Echo Fox. Their Hakuho's Ignite and Box were enough.
Yeah, I mean, Gate ults over to assist Dardoch, and it looks like Hakuho and Apollo say, okay, we'll take that 2v1. You can see both ults on cooldown, Ignite on cooldown. I can tell you pretty much he got hooked, and then Kaisa ulted in and he died. Don't really need the replay to figure out that one.
But it puts the game back to tied in gold. Echo Fox still up that Drake. We can watch this bot lane fight again.
Yeah, so Gate going to be looking to ult over. Maybe expecting Asta again. Yeah, Asta was trying to get in. Gate double-clicked the ultimate, I think, there before he had a chance to actually hop aboard. So he was standing there trying to click on the Tahm Kench and jump aboard, and Hakuho just hooks him up.
Yeah.
He'll take that kill, no problem.
Oof. Gate selling out his teammates, unlucky there. That is...
Baited and outsmarted.
Yeah, I guess. All right, well, that's rough stuff, but it's a kill in the bot lane, and Echo Fox can feel very good. First 200 CS of the bot laners is Apollo. Storm Razor done. Definitely in a powerful spot with this Kaisa.
Not that big of a deal, though. No summoners down for Asta, and the kill at least did go over to Hakuho, so it's it's not the end of the world. But certainly a nice advantage that Echo Fox will take, as both these teams playing it fairly slowly in these early stages, and happy to farm up. As you pointed out in the top lane, farm still quite even. No significant advantages besides that one kill going over to Dhokla, and Dardoch having to use his first ult defensively turned off a lot of the playmaking ability that OpTic otherwise would have had.
I want to point out a choice Solo is making. He's rushing for CDR building components. Glacial into Kindle Gem, pretty cheap, but 20 CDR in the build already. Stacking armor and health, and the most efficient ones he can get now. Second Mountain Drake is being targeted, and looks like OpTic are going to be willing to give it away. Yeah. Nice try on the ult in case there was a miss smite. Rush would have given it over, but plays it well.
Yep, and what that costs them is the gold and the turret plate and everything that's being given over to Dhokla. Because Dhokla had no intention of coming down. That's why OpTic just immediately back off. Solo had no TP, so he ran all the way down there, down to the dragon, then walks all the way back up. So it is 2 turret plates going over the way of Dhokla in a matchup that he's already winning. So that is going to be nice for him, but they're looking for the pick now.
All right, they're going to find the knockup. He's got a Summoner Spellbook heal, pops that for some movement, and now he's got to watch out. He's going to be fine. Crown TP's top lane. You can see that through Fog of War. Phoenix just simply walked up, so a somewhat Summoner Spell lead here in this case. And they can walk back to mid.
Yeah, so a lot of gold available now for him to spend. Dhokla sitting on 2,300 gold, working through his cull also. So, is going to have that Black Cleaver available and should really be able to take over in the lane. As you say, Solo working towards those CDR components. This is a build that we were kind of last seeing in Pro quite a bit before the Ornn changes, which kind of knocked him out. And I do think it is a very effective one. It's mostly about the ultimate, so just get the ultimate up available as soon as possible.
Here's the attempt. They found the slow. Solo does have flash.
Nice
this time
flash.
He predicts it right. He knew the E-flash was coming. Same cooldown, and Solo gets away.
Yep, that is really well done from Solo. It was the buffered flash, the E into flash, and Phoenix and Crown having a fight.
Gets away from both the bombs. Now a fight between the junglers. Rush is so low. Dardoch almost able to kill him, but the ult is down, and he can't find those last few shots. But pushing Rush away. He was flashless.
Yeah, action all across the map, but nothing resulting in kills. And as you said, it was just good anticipation from Solo. When they do the E flash, there's no time to really react. Once the E is already flashed on top of you, you're going to be flinged in. So that early flash saves Solo's life, and Dardoch, 2 ultimates, no kills to show for it just yet, but has been having some close fights here against Rush.
Okay, still a very close game. 200 gold separates. And it's still anyone's game here. The farm pretty equal across the junglers, though Dardoch had a better first round through it. It is 87 to 79 in jungle CS essentially. So Rush is now holding up throughout the mid game, and we will wait to see this mid game Kha'Zix try to take over later on.
Double mountain and a third mountain coming up really is going to incentivize EchoFox to try to grab that and then look for some sort of Baron sneak. That becomes such a kind of clear win condition. When you do hit 3 Mountain Dragons with Kha'Zix, with Kaisa, you can absolutely shred that so incredibly fast. Sometimes even if your opponents realize that you're doing it, they're not going to have enough time to react. So we'll see how heavily these 2 teams are going to brawl over that Mountain Dragon and how well they're going to do at actually tracking the neutral objectives, keeping vision in around the Baron and the Rift Herald, and trying to deny as much of that as is possible as we move towards those stages of the game.
Yeah. Well, those 2 turret plates taken in the top lane were what we expected, and I believe it was bot outer, the last one as well on the EchoFox side. 4 EchoFox, I should say. As that blue's going to be taken once again, going over to Fenix. Mathematically, I think it's interesting that the 3rd Mountain Drake, though it feels really good, doesn't mean as much for EchoFox as the first 2 did. You essentially have decreasing value, diminishing returns with each one picked up. But, would be nice, just not super duper necessary. So we'll see if they do have that priority or not. Of course, it will spawn well before the Baron comes up, so it might be the only objective they even want. Might be nothing else to fight for. So once again, mid lane wave clear comes through, and it's 147 to 165. Just very easy to get almost all of it. Another attempted steal for Asta, and it's not even close.
But it looked pretty.
It looked pretty. Visual update came through end of last year. Looks nicer than before.
Yeah, we'll give them that. But so far, so good for both the teams. Gold pretty much dead even. It is 2 Mountain Dragons to 0, but that is, the potential to get more from that. That is not guaranteed advantages just yet. These lanes have been fairly even, although you do see, EchoFox is out farming in the mid and the bot. The advantages that Urgot has gotten with the initial solo kill for First Blood, as well as the 2 turret plates, is kind of what is keeping you pretty darn close there.
Simple wave clear back and forth across the map. We don't have anything intricate going on right now. Of course, with Tahm Kench in the lane, it's almost impossible for Thresh to force an all-in. Asta can take the hook, and then Gate just presses W, and as long as you don't double tap R, you're going to be fine. Rush going to look for Dardoch, maybe. No, nothing to be had just yet.
And as the game is being pretty passive, we can kind of take a step back and look at some of these teams and their path here. Rush obviously is such a popular player, had come into the league with Tip, had a lot of success there. That's where he won his MVP and really kind of made a name for himself as this playmaker. And it's been quite some time since he's been with the league. He has been in Korea for quite a while, kind of training under Score. Didn't get a tremendous amount of playtime there, but certainly Score is one of the most respected junglers in the world, someone that most people pointed to as the best jungler in the world. So that is something that you have to think Rush really would have benefited from. Certainly a player with a tremendous amount of mechanical skill, and having that opportunity to train under Score should have paid dividends.
And first turret bot lane goes to the Kaisa 2 games in a row. As EchoFox managed to win this bot lane by a sizable 20 CS, and that first turret Rush gets some alone time with the Mountain Drake. This one is going to be spotted, and simply OpTic going to trade the Rift Herald for it. So a little bit of extra damage coming through for the Mountain stack, but Herald could mean just that much in total damage with a turret charge. Dhokla finally getting top lane down as well. Difference in first turret gold, only 150. So, not a huge difference. It's basically a minion wave's worth of gold traded apart. The bot lane wave will be cleared, and we still have a very equal gold game. Just Triple Mountain really separating these 2 squads.
Yeah, and again, Triple Mountain really does not do anything for you unless you're going to be able to get to the Baron. Like, that is really the big ticket objective that you can get. Yes, it is going to help with turret damage if they do get out in those side lanes and are able to get some access to that. But Baron certainly, I think, is where they have to look. You can see OpTic has a lot of kind of priority around that area, and the Baron isn't yet to spawn for a couple minutes, but certainly had very good vision to help them trade back that Rift Herald with 3 pinks in that area. And I'm looking to see if Echo Fox will now start to move as we approach that 20-minute mark up towards that quadrant of the map, try to reestablish vision, try to at least always have the threat of that Baron start, because even just denying out all these wards and clearing that out will make OpTic constantly have to check in, constantly have to ward that pit. And that can open up for a lot of picks with the Lissandra, with the Ornn, with the Thresh, and I think that is where their comp is going to most succeed, especially with the dragons that they've picked up this game.
Well, Rush has chosen to evolve the Spike Racks here at level 11. I thought with maybe the chance of wanting to rush down a Baron, evolving Q for the cooldown, and just having the insane single target damage could have been a choice, but no. Going for the more typical extra crowd control and the spread out spikes. Not a huge surprise, but one that was worth considering. Phoenix getting a potential blue buff steal here, which is quite nice. Echo Fox getting a little bit of control over this map. Crown will check. We'll see how good the double bomb's going to be. It's getting low enough, and about 500. No, nice proto belt. Phoenix gets it. Takes some damage, though. Will there be a chase? Crown can... He's not going to go for it.
Yeah, not really any chance in actually killing him off, and they have not really any vision on this side of the map, so always going to be a bit nervous if anyone is there behind Phoenix. So just continually going to be farming this up, and we have seen a lot of Ezreal games go to the later stages, go to those kind of full build points where the Ezreal has been extremely effective. Thinking back to yesterday, Sven having a really standout game on the Ezreal. Bang, just last game that we watched, really was fantastic on that as well. And certainly since the Ezreal update, I do think that his late game got even stronger, and he is incredibly difficult to take down. And when paired with a Tahm Kench and a Zilean, can play pretty brazenly. You really can.
They might go for this.
Look to be aggressive.
Phoenix already has the E on cooldown, and we know he's at half HP. Dardoch gonna throw the E over the wall. There's not yet a dive. Even though they have the Zilean revive, they're worried about what kind of counter gank could come through.
Yeah, and I mean, stopwatch and self-ult available do make it pretty darn hard, I think, especially to dive there onto the Aftershock Lissandra. So, you know, it would be a tough play to make. Perhaps you could pull it off with you know, the proper turret juggling and the Zilean ultimate, but that buys a lot of time for someone to maybe respond.
And right now, Phoenix's R cooldown is faster than Crown's, so even trading spells 1-for-1 wouldn't even be a positive timing-wise. Rush going to be fighting Dardoch yet again, this time for a Scuttle Crab. The age-old jungler battle. Who's going to kill the crab? It's Dardoch.
Dardoch able to grab that and does back off, but still, you know, we have yet to see the kind of Zilean plus Rengar combo being revealed. These guys have not really looked to go for it, and to be fair, there's not a lot of great targets, right? And that is where you do start to question it a bit. You can try to look for the bot lane. That's probably your best hope. But if Hakuho is positioned behind Apollo, that's going to be tough. You know, looking for solo as this tanky Ornn is tough. Lissandra seriously very, very difficult target to take down with self-ultimate and stopwatch available. So they will kind of have to pick their moments very well. And I think we want to see Dardoch being able to get on top of Apollo with the Zilean bomb and try to burst him out. That is really the prime target.
Well, he'll look for it, but might just not get it. Mid lane priority going to Echo Fox. Pretty easy wave clear. Apollo can press Q. And that's all his, and he can keep stacking up here. Rage Blade on the way. That'll be an important power spike to grab. In the next couple hundred gold. He's about 1,000 away from getting that.
Yeah, and the Rage Blade I do think should be you know, a huge contributing factor also to that Baron threat. That is really, I think, when Kaisa can start to burn that down that much faster. You know, Dardoch, I think, has been performing quite well for OpTic so far this season, and you know, there was kind of, I think, a lot of surprise among the community that he had not been picked up for an LCS squad. He was slated to start for OpTic Academy, and you know, Media was to be the starting roster, starting jungler rather for the roster here, as we will finally get a fight.
3 versus 1. Phoenix going to self-ult by a few seconds, and that's going to be enough time, even with the stun coming through, because he's got reinforcements. So, well, OpTic forced out an ultimate, but it cost the Tahm Kench.
Yep, they have the redemption coming through, and the stopwatch was still available, so no way to really continue in on this. Infernal Dragon, pretty high priority for these teams. We'll see if Dardoch wants to go in, but it's already gone.
Yep. Neutral's being stacked up. Echo Fox playing the controlled neutral game right now, adding their 4th Drake. Ocean going to be next up on the docket. Of course, now there's only a chance of spawning Ocean and Infernal. Only 3 types can ever spawn. They've already maxed out their mountain count. So coin flips from now on, whether it's fire or water. And it's just wave clear again.
We did see yesterday Echo Fox trying to attempt a very heavy neutral objective focused gameplay, but TSM was able to kind of always, it felt, beat them to the punch. Be at that dragon faster. Be at that dragon, you know, and find the pick onto Rush and find these ways to always take these neutral objectives away. But today, certainly, Echo Fox has been doing a great job with it, and Rush on the Kha'Zix really is fantastic at taking down those dragons and has done it early and often. I mean, we're only 23 minutes in, and they're already at that 4 dragon mark, so potential to pick up a couple more before we even see an Elder show up.
And if you get that Elder with those stacks, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Things just disappear. And I mean, they started at 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Like, Rush was there as it spawned. They are getting a lot of these. Keep in mind, Drakes do spawn faster this season. Every 5 minutes, new one comes up. And they are on those cooldowns.
It's also worth noting, Solo has hit level 14, so he's gotten both of his upgrades, actually. Rush the 2 of the items that he would want to upgrade, so he's sitting on Frozen Fist and Infernal Mask that has both of those Ornn upgrades.
Yep.
And as well, just actually having upgraded the Obsidian Cleaver. So he upgraded Rush's item there too. And every additional level that he's grabbing here is going to be allowing him to upgrade another item, making it that much stronger. And that is also kind of lying in the gold league to you, because those are worth a fair bit of gold in stats. I've heard it at around 1,000 gold per item or thereabouts. So that's around 3,000 additional gold just from those Ornn upgrades, plus whatever you want to count the Infernal for at this point. And then, you know, the Mountain Dragons aren't really worth combat stats, but obviously, you know,
they're worth gameplay impacting differences, right? So sometimes you'll get things that you wouldn't have otherwise, and the game turns around. You imagine Golden Guardians, but I wish they had one in the previous game. They were off by about 1 second in completing that.
Yeah.
And just sometimes those margins are all that matters. Well, moving on forward, 25 minutes into the game. The gold's still only 800 apart, but Echo Fox feel like they've been driving the whole way. Just these small leads catching up, and now looking for the big play. Looking at the knockup. They're going to get only one. Some decent damage, but Dhokla is separated from Gate, but no survival. No, instead, it's the Guardian Angel popped, or I should say the ult out of Crown. Dardoch dives in, 2-on-2, a stun is there. Good damage towards Rush. Popped a stopwatch. Diving in now is Fenix, looking for Crown. But no kills just yet. They all get away. No deaths. 1-1 still the game.
Yeah, stopwatch used there from Rush. The self-revive used by Zilean, but everyone just able to kind of get out of there no problem. And it's very hard for these two teams to actually commit in. Especially for Echo Fox when you're looking over at the Tahm Kench, the Zilean, there's very few targets you can actually really commit safely into trying to dive onto without being punished here.
Yeah, it is just so difficult. You've got Tahm Kench, you've got that Zilean, you've got revives, you've got everything you could almost want ever. So good luck finding the openings, and part of that is why Echo Fox has been spending all that time going for neutrals. The Dragons, I mean, they revive technically, but you get the benefits every time you kill them.
Yeah.
And 133 till Ocean is up. And that'll let them stay on the map for longer and play those Baron baits. They can hit Baron, take damage, and get the health back. And they can, it does feed into that play style at least a little bit. It does kind of help with that sort of win condition, or even with the sieging.
But I would like to see Echo Fox with more of a focus on vision control, right? When you're looking across the inventories, Hakuho, yes, he has 2 pink wards, but there's one more pink ward among the other 3 members. There's not really a lot going on there among the other 4 members, excuse me. You know, and they're sitting on things like, you know, you see Ruby Crystal in the inventory of Solo, as well as Phoenix. You see the Doran's Blade being sat on by Apollo. No pink wards being actually bought up, and this to me is definitely, you know, an error. This is something where the coaches are going to be a bit frustrated by that when you're sitting on Triple Mountain. Baron baiting and Baron taking is a clear win condition. You want pinks in all the inventories, and you want to be able to set up that control.
Not even inventories. There's 2 control wards on the map for Echo Fox. One in front of that Baron pit and one right by the mid lane that you can see here on your screen in the brush. So they are not playing that vision very well. The hook's going to land, though, and they'll go for the team fight instead. But no, the stun stops it. Solo was rooted and couldn't go for the play, but they're going to find a hook anyway. They've got Dardoch. He's going to flash. He might just stay alive and chopped up by Gate, but is it going to be enough? He's still burning down, and he will be forced to be revived, but that's the ult down. So Flay brings in Dhokla. He's tanky, though. He buys so much time. Finally, a kill. Hakuho grabs it with redemption, and Dardoch falls as well. A 2-for-0 Echo Fox in the lead.
And that may be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Finally, some action here as these two teams clash, and Hakuho landing 2 huge hooks. This is going to be an easy Baron. We'll see if Crown can pull off any heroics here.
It's going to be so hard. This thing evaporates. Watch out! Okay, the smite comes in well. It was close by Asta, but the Baron +2 kills Echo Fox far in the lead, and Crown cannot stop them.
Yeah, so some great hooks from Hakuho, and finally they do get that Baron off of it. OpTic will be able to grab a turret back for themselves, and The question now becomes, how much can EchoFox get with the Baron buff? Another dragon is out on the map. They may want to try to work their way over to that before they do anything else. And you can see Rush heading over in that direction. Dardoch is heading over here too. But a lot of turret gold still available on the map here. Both mid lane turrets are still available. A bottom lane turret very low. And here it is one more time. Hakuho actually getting the initial hook onto Crown, which prompted the engage. It was a great route. Empowered Bola onto Solo to stop the redirection of that ultimate from Dardoch. And that was fantastic, but does get caught out in his ultimate, hooked in. The Resurrect has had to be used, and you can see the Stoneblade Urgot buying so much time, but Asta was already chunked out and pushed back. Dardoch was very low on health, and Hakuho landing another great hook there, pulling him in, knocking down that jungler, and that's what secures them the Baron.
And now it's all control right now. Baron power play, 2,400. They've got a lot they can do as the turrets are falling across the map. You're seeing Fenix splitting the bottom side, and anyone near this Thresh can look for a kill if a hook lands. But Fenix, his days might be numbered. He's slowed down, finds Aftershock, looks for a play. Not gonna get it just yet, but there will instead be an engage. Self-ult buys some time, a knock up on a 3, but where can he get out? They've got to stop this lantern, and they can't get it anyway. He gets over the wall, finds the click, and out he goes.
Triple ward there. I'm wondering if he's using the zoom in trick.
Probably.
Because you can actually zoom in your camera on the lantern. It makes it much easier to click and avoid those wards. So may be utilizing that, or maybe just has a very accurate pointer.
Maybe so. Fenix definitely has the mechanics, and looks like it's going to be okay for him. Bot lane tier 2 did fall. 4-2 in turrets. Mid lane siege still going to continue. 128 on that Baron buff. And Phoenix is right back where he was before. Lost the ult. Still no flash, but the ult's back in about 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's such a short cooldown. I mean, Lissandra ult is basically up already.
And there it is.
And he is sitting on the Luden's Pulse now, so another Ornn upgrade coming through. So much additional gold now really is kind of being benefited from for this EchoFox team as he's cranking out these upgrades. The lead really starting to expand. 5 dragons to 0. They will get an additional dragon actually before the Elder comes out as well. So the potential to have a 6-stack Elder dragon, which I don't even know if I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure I have either, but it's going to be pretty nutty if it happens. I'm not even sure they need that much time though to win this game.
Just wait for second Elder with 6x.
Yeah. Oh my, you actually just one-shot things with Mystic Shot. Like, the game just ends and it just dies on its own. Well, Dhokla going to be knocked up, but they've got a Tahm Kench nearby. They grab, he's going to stay safe for now. Looking at a possible re-engage. Hook's not going to land though, it's not going to happen yet. Crown though, just going to clear minions away and going to keep the base alive. 23 seconds left on Baron buff. They crash mid, they crash bot. Look at the hook, not going to find that though. Instead, the wave clear comes through, the turret is low, a couple more shots. That cannon minion's going to do the hard work, and it's going to fall. Now an open inhibitor. Ornn comes across, they find the knockup into 2. Not yet the chase though, just sitting there with the front line as Solo. He's going to come back though in the stun though. This could be dangerous. Rush has to get out. He's so low, but doesn't get grabbed. And just barely able to run away. But this could be the dive. Where is the kill going to come from? His Baron buff time's out. OpTic, they've put the revive on Dardoch, but it's going to time out before too long. And he jumps in when it's already gone. No kill to be had.
Yeah, not the proper coordination there from Crown and Dardoch. It looked like Crown got CC'd up as Dardoch initially wanted to go in. So Dardoch backs off, hesitates a little bit. Then the ultimate comes through and not able to have enough time to actually follow through and get anything from that. They do defend the inhibitor though, but EchoFox has cracked the base.
Well, it's starting to look better and better for EchoFox. When you crack the inhibitor turrets, that's when it starts to get really scary because they usually have to cede control of those structures without a turret to defend them. Baron ends up with a 4,000 gold lead. Still those Drakes to their credit. One interesting conceit is there's an Ocean and a Baron spawning at the same time. And while it would be nice for OpTic to like take the Drake as like compensation for Baron dying, it means Elder will spawn, and that's gonna help you lose the game. I don't think there's a world where OpTic wants this Ocean Drake to die, so the Elder's just not an option.
Yeah.
And either way, it's rough because there's less things they can do in this game.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of win conditions out here for the side of EchoFox. OpTic, still though, they are scaling quite well. You know, they have a powerful team composition in their own right, but they're gonna need to try to find the right fight, find the right plays, and it's felt like this has been mostly 30 minutes of OpTic just sitting back, accepting whatever EchoFox wants to do, trying to absorb it, trying to scale up. But at a certain point, you can't give up too much. You can't necessarily give up that second Baron at this point of the game with the inhibitor turret already cracked and expect to hold on.
Well, they're going to have to figure out where their opening's going to be. The gold, though it's fairly far apart at 5K, is not insurmountable. It's just the OpTic haven't shown us those team fights yet. It hasn't quite been there, but it's within reach. Asta up to 3 major items. The Seraph's Embrace has converted. He's not terribly far from Ruin King or Gunblade. Only a few hundred to go until that gets to be turned around as well. So the chance is there is just going to be hard. Looking now to move forward. Looking at Solo, but he's got a Lantern, and out he goes. Now the re-engage. Here comes Call of the Forge God. The jump in for Rush. Doesn't get stunned up. Instead, they've got to kill in the front line. There's the Resurrect on the Crown, but he's going to be surrounded without an escape route. This is going to be the first kill. Apollo grabs that. Now on to Dhokla. Fights on 2 different fronts. Phoenix is low, but they've got the reinforcements. Gate's going to drop as well. Apollo diving in for more. Nearly gets Asta. The snipe's not going to land for either one, but he's going to find a kill. Actually, it's going to be Dhokla getting 1, turning it around a little bit. A 2-for-1 is not as good as that fight could have been. EchoVox, though, still outnumbered. They've got control of the map.
Yeah, critical kill there for Dhokla. As you say, it looks like a lot of members could have gone down. Asta, stiff breeze away from dying, and Dhokla turns around a kill, so we'll see if they can try to contest, but I think this is just Dhokla going into his death.
Last goes into the 1v4, hoping to buy some time to hope for some kind of opening, but Stoneplate's not going to be enough. It will be another kill. It will not be an option for him, and this will certainly be now an uncontested, aside from that. And this time, it's not going to be there. Good pickup there. EchoVox get yet another Baron.
Yeah, not able to contest that one in time, and now the Infinity Edge comes through. This is level 17 for Ornn, so all the upgrades are going to be out. Here it is one more time. OpTic trying to make a proactive play, but they just don't really have the engage. You know, it's Dhokla running forward. Crown there trying to back him up, but he gets hooked in, knocked down, and then no chance. Reviving on that box. Well-placed ultimate from Hakuho to slow him up immediately. Apollo dives into the backline alongside Fenix, who had a lot of these members low, and that passive hit just barely allowing Asta to survive. And it was a nice ultimate from Dhokla to trade one back, but EchoVox certainly in full control. Upgraded Ornn items on every member of the team now. That is an additional, say, 6,000 gold worth of stats.
Yeah.
With 2 of them on Ornn and 1 across the board for everyone else. These guys really do have a huge amount of additional power with 6 dragons and 6 upgraded Ornn items.
They are looking very strong. This could be the death knell right now, and OpTic could drop to 2 and 2. And Fox could raise to that one. The attempted engage towards Rush not going to be found. Here's the Call of the Forge God. Double knockup. Into the dive in the backline, and Dardoch is already gone. Looking for even more. It's a self-revive on Asta. That's not going to mean enough. Kills are coming through fast and furious. They're going to have 3 already. Asta's running. Crown's nearby as well. And it just doesn't matter. They're outside the base. The minions are inside of it as well. The TP coming across. Crown can try to keep his kingdom up, but it's not going to be enough. Asta's going to fall, and 1 versus 5. It just can't happen. It's going to drop right now. EchoVox will improve to 2 and 2. There's nothing left. Crown sits and waits. OpTic's Academy experiment will come to an end this week. They will end 2 and 2, better than many would have expected. EchoVox with the win right here, maybe better than some would have for them as well.
2 and 2 certainly could be happy about that one, and Rush still not 0-2. It keeps that alive. He just can't go 0-2 on the weekend. 3-0-6 for Rush on the day for the Kha'Zix. Certainly a well-played game from EchoVox. It felt like it was in their control the whole way through. They were the ones getting dragon after dragon after dragon. 6 of those going their way. OpTic just felt too happy to sit back and allow the game to come to them, but yeah, they gave over so much to EchoVox. The Ornn pick never really was punished, got so much out of that additional passive, upgrading items across the entire board, and by the time it felt like OpTic was willing to try something, it was too little too late.
Yeah, it went to a passive farm game for so much of the early to mid, and that meant Rush picked up a dragon, and a dragon, and a dragon, and a dragon, and another dragon. And at that point, team fights has started, and even though Mountain Drake doesn't help you win the team fights 5v5, execution was better. They would find the hook, okay, that's Zilean ult down. They find a hook, okay, that's Tahm Kench W down. Find a third hook, okay, that person's finally dead. And that's how the fights tended to go, and then the gold lead was too big, and then suddenly Rush is 3-0-6. Apollos were hitting the entire time of the most gold of the game, and it was just a snowball for EchoVox.
Yeah, and a lot of credit, I think, has to go over to EchoVox and their draft this game, because when you look at the OpTic comp in isolation, you're thinking, okay, well, you're clearly going to engage with Dardoch and Crown. the Rengar gets sped up, he has bomb on his head, he jumps in, he kills someone. But when you looked over at Echo Fox's team, it was so hard to actually engage on a lot of these members. You try to jump forward on Apollo, he goes invisible in the E, he's getting lanterned out. You know, Rush is saving his ultimate and actually going invis as well when the Rengar pops that. Then you have a Lissandra and an Ornn and a Thresh. And it was like, okay, well, how do we engage now? And it didn't feel like they ever really knew that answer. They were, at that point, then hoping that they could get enough of an advantage in a side lane or that, you know, Echo Fox would just throw a fight, but it didn't happen. And it just felt like somewhat they got outmaneuvered in that regard.
Yeah, I think they did get outmaneuvered. A well-played game. Echo Fox getting the second win. And now for more on that victory, let's send it on Avali and the Echo Fox spot laner.
Thanks, Phreak. Apollo, 2-2 for Echo Fox at the end of week 2, and you had a phenomenal performance on Kaisa. What do you think about Echo Fox's success in the split so far?
I mean, I don't know if success is the right word. We're doing okay. You know, we're middle of the pack right now. I think we performed well in scrims. We just kind of want to translate to stage. We have like so much to work on right now, but I'm glad that we're like, I think the way that we're losing is still fine just because we're playing like proactive, even though it looks a little messy to most people. I mean, it is messy, but yeah, I mean, we're just playing proactive, and I think that's really good.
One of the things that I really enjoyed seeing was you, Solo, and Hakuho joining Echo Fox's this trio and keeping that synergy that you guys have built together. But including Fenix and Rush, what are they adding to the team?
I mean, they're just really good players, and I've obviously played with Rush before, and I think they're just really good at like working with each other. I mean, we're all just really trying to like get better, and we're all trying to make sure that we're like, you know, on the best on game day or like practicing what we need to practice. So it's really just like, I don't know. I think we just have really good teamwork right now, and I think we're working well with each other.
Do they affect the way that you play at all?
Yeah, I think they made me a lot more confident. Like I think especially just having like, especially Fenix, I think he does this a lot where like he's really vocal about when we can win a fight or when we can like keep going. Maybe more so in stage when there's a little more energy involved. But yeah, I think they both have like really good confidence, and I think that makes me play more confident as well.
Well, Apollo, thank you and congratulations again. And for more on the game, let's hear from the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. I think it's rare that you see a Kha'Zix Rengar jungle matchup and then the resulting game be so low kill, at least for so long.
It was so boring.
Well, yeah, it was
whoa.
All right. So what we wanted to do here was, first of all, talk about why it is that we may have ended up in this kind of a jungle matchup, along with the compositions that are supporting these two champions, and then therefore how the game played out in the way that it did. So, Mark, start us off here. Why is it that you think we ended up with this jungle matchup?
So, heading into the game, a lot of people were talking about Dardoch versus Rush, and they thought that
Or
would...
in this case, Meteos with...
Yeah, that should say Dardoch.
Rip.
And the Arrow and Big, yeah, some of the wrong players in here, but everyone knew it was going to be Dardoch versus Rush as the key focal points, and so both teams feel like they identified that too, and you saw jungle picks coming late in the draft. The last rotation for both teams, and I think that's because they know Lee Sin is a favorite for both people. They don't want to pick it early because Kha'Zix can be seen as a counter pick, so I think OpTic was trying to bait Rush into taking the Lee Sin so they can take the Kha'Zix. There were a couple jungle bans, so he ends up taking the Kha'Zix himself, and then you're left with, well, what do I take into the Kha'Zix now? I don't want to play the Lee.
Right.
You don't want to play Sejuani because if you look at the two team comps, you're probably not winning team fights, so they end up taking the Rengar.
What jungler do you pick into this?
Yeah, I don't know what jungler is supposed to go there.
You save the jungler for last. You have like Jarvan, Sejuani, but you have no melees for Sejuani. It's like, what do I get? Rengar, I guess.
So it's a pretty intelligent draft then by Echo Fox. Kind of maybe recognize what OpTic's intention was and circumvent that by taking the Kha'Zix themselves.
Right, and to be fair, it's not like the Kha'Zix is great into this draft either. You have a armor-building marksman, you have a tank basically in the top lane, and then you have a revive in the mid lane and the Tahm Kench to save someone. So it's not like Kha'Zix is great here either.
Right.
But you don't need an influential jungle matchup because you win the 5v5.
That's what I was going to say. So I turn to you, Hai, because if we end up in a situation where now the junglers almost feel irrelevant to some degree unless they randomly pop off hardcore, which team do you have more faith in winning based on the overall composition?
I am a pro player, and I am on the left team. I'm quite happy if nothing happens in the game, to be honest. Like, it's boring for me to watch as a spectator, but if I'm in the game, I'm like, nice, it's 0-0-0. I got Kaisa on my team, and Ornn on my team, Kha'Zix, Lissandra, and then we're versus Ezreal. That, like, he can do damage, but not compared to Kaisa. I'm pretty happy. So That's definitely a very strong draft from them.
So ultimately, what we saw happen was maybe 1 kill apiece for both teams in the first 20+ minutes of the game. Ornn starts to hit that 13, 14, level 15 item spikes where he can now just hand free gold to his teammates.
Right.
We've scaled to our team 5 point. We jump to the mid lane, and this is exactly what happens. Echo Fox starts pulling away with the game.
Well, Hakuho has some really good hooks here. Just watch Dardoch. What does Rengar really do in this team fight, or what can he do? It's like he gets hooked twice in a row, and then he instantly dies, has to flash out, gets Zilean revived, and then just doesn't. I don't think he did a single auto attack this entire fight, I'm pretty sure. And he wasn't able to do one.
He's just running this entire time. Throws a bola back in, maybe gets an auto there.
There's one.
And another hook. 3 hooks there by Hakuho in that fight. So definitely good individual play by him. But I think it goes more to the point of, at this time in the game, OpTic's only option is to run from full 5-man fights.
Right, and it's not like Rush was popping off in that team fight either. It was just that they had the hooks and the better 5v5 plus the Lissandra flank. And most importantly, Rush got like a 5-minute Mountain Drake, and they instantly recognized it's going to be a slow game. Let's get the neutral objective advantage on our side. And they ended up, at that point in the game, having 3 mountains and an Infernal. So when they finally go to Baron, it's just like, gone.
They had like 6 dragons in like 29 minutes or 30-something minutes.
It was gross. You're basically maximizing the number of dragons that they could take before the Elder spawns. To me, though, I think that was kind of one of the most intriguing points, and maybe what we could point out as being a very intelligent decision by Rush is recognizing that, hey, we've drafted ourselves into a moot jungle matchup, essentially. Now what I'm playing for is putting the rest of my team in that late game position where we can control objectives, and when we do win that team fight, easy Baron secure and win from there.
He's being a team player, playing for the team, not himself.
And we were saying,
which is new.
Multiple styles out of a jungler is what you want to see. So that was really intelligent.
He's a changed man since he left NA, went to Korea, and came
Still
back.
meme heavy, but he's a changed man nonetheless. It's a good win for Echo Fox here over an OpTic Gaming that has definitely impressed us so far in the early portions of the split. It's time for us to take a quick commercial break. When we return, Team Liquid aim to take down Clutch Gaming in Game 3. Don't go anywhere.